What up, guys? We're doing the complete home buying process today, and we're going to go through everything. So everything that you need to know about buying a home, it's going to be in this video. All right?
That's right. I got my glasses on, so you know I'm serious. So let's get right into it. So step number one, you're going to want to choose a realtor to help you out. Unless you completely understand the entire home buying process, it's pretty complicated, so you're going to want some professional help. This is our job. We're realtors, and we help hundreds of buyers every. Is it hundreds of buyers, or we help several buyers every month?
Not hundreds of buyers a month, that's for sure.
Yeah, but we help a lot of buyers. We help
But
sellers.
maybe with this video.
Yeah, with this video, we're going to be helping hundreds of buyers. So
Yeah.
that's the first step: is find a good realtor. There's some I believe have a video on what to ask a realtor to know which if it's a good realtor or not. But ideally, you want someone who has experience, who works full time, and who just has that confidence in what they're talking about and really knows, all the detailed steps on how to get from start to close.
And we're going to help you with that right now. So the next step after finding a realtor, normally if you haven't done this before and you're not buying the property all cash, you're going to meet with a lender. And a lot of things that scare lenders, or not lenders, that scare buyers, is that your credit is going to get dinged, which will happen. But there is time. So if you were to go and get a pre-qualification letter and then you just didn't do another pre-qualification letter, it's going to look different to the lender. But if you are shopping for a rate, they're going to see that you went to one lender, the next lender, and it shouldn't affect your credit. One of the questions you're going to want to know is interest rates. What are they going to charge you for interest? Also, do they have any origination costs? Those are two questions I ask if I was a buyer, or that I tell my clients to ask, because then they know what the closing costs are going to be when closing the loan. Also, that's basically those are the two very strong questions that you're going to want to ask.
Yeah, so this is where a lot of people kind of mess up, is they think that the first step is let's just go look at houses, and that might be a good place to start, just driving around, go to open houses. But ideally, if you're a serious buyer, the first things you're going to want to do is find a realtor and get pre-qualified with a lender. Okay?
Right. And once you have that pre-qualification letter, or let's just say you're buying all cash, but once you have that pre-qualification letter, then we can go shop for a house. That's going to be your proof of, hey, we are a qualified buyer, and you can make an offer. Now, this is going to be catered towards folks in Texas, because Texas does have a couple things that are different. Number one is the option fee. These are the upfront costs in Texas. So when you go out to buy a house in Texas, they're gonna, you're gonna have to, within 3 days, have that option fee or earnest money, which is typically 1% of the purchase price. And that option fee, you're negotiating a time frame to inspect the property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and typically, so the realtor will help you write the offer once you find the right house. Typically, if the realtor asks the right questions ahead of time, you're not going to be looking at 20 to 50 houses. That's just very unrealistic. It takes, 5 hours? No, like about 3 hours to look at 5 houses or so.
Oh yeah, at least 3 hours.
Ideally, if you have a good realtor who knows the market, you're going to be looking anywhere from 3 to 10 houses. Any more than that, you probably aren't too sure of what you're wanting. So just to give you a rough idea. Now, there are some people who feel much more comfortable looking at 20 houses, 30, but anything more than that, that's just kind of an outlier. As far as the option fee goes, nowadays we're seeing it could be anywhere from $100 to $1,000. It's non-refundable. Once you have your offer accepted and you sign that contract, that's the money that goes to the seller for taking the house off the market. Earnest money is 1% of the sales price, typically. We've been seeing in this 2020 market, it could change in the next couple years. So I don't know if you're watching this in 2025. That'd be pretty cool. If you are watching this in 2025, leave a comment below. Anyway, right now it's about 1 to 3% as an earnest money deposit. Now, if you back out of the contract during the option period, you'll get that earnest money back. However, if you're in breach of the contract, that earnest money will go to the seller. So be aware of that.
Yeah, and so another upfront cost is going to be your inspections, right? So, even if you're buying a new build, it's always good to get an inspection just to make sure that everything's working right. But it's going to range between $400 to $500 depending on the property. So if you have a property that's got wells and pools and all that, sometimes the inspector isn't going to be able to do that. You might have to find an expert in that field to do that type of inspection. Another thing when it comes to inspections is you're going to get a lot of problems with the house. They always find something wrong. That's what their job is. Their job is to find out anything that could be an issue. That there's blaring issues like plumbing, electrical, roofing, and then there's issues just maybe there's a scuff mark or some chipped flooring or something that's kind of minuscule. Now in this market, when you're going to negotiate, you want to negotiate those high ticket items. Those are the things that are super important. But if you were looking to, try and get the seller in 2021 to do pay for anything, it's almost impossible. But not impossible. I mean, it's a lot harder than it was a few months back in 2020, 2019. So moving on from that, once you get your inspection report, your realtor's going to sit you down. They're going to go over all the details of what is wrong with the house and what needs to be fixed, and then you can negotiate with the seller in regards to those items.
Right, so just know your situation. Sometimes you might be in a situation where you have leverage as a buyer. Sometimes the seller has leverage. So again, a good realtor will be able to kind of guide you through that whole negotiating process and fixing things that you didn't know were wrong with the house. So up until this point, we have, as far as upfront expenses, we have the option fee, which is about $100 to $300. And let's say this house costs $500,000, right? So option fee, $100 to $300, could be up to $1,000. 1% as an earnest money deposit, that's $5,000 up front. You have your inspection. Nowadays they're costing anywhere from $400 to $500, more like $500 for an inspection. Mm-hmm. Prices just keep going up. It's crazy. So it could be different in a couple of years. And then we have appraisal, which is about now I guess $600.
Yeah, nowadays. It could be $500 to $600 in this market.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask your lender. That's going to be a cost with them. We used to in Texas, or it's very hard to, but we order the appraisal early during the option period. It used to be after the option period, but earlier because appraisers are far and few between. There's just not as many as there were. They're just fully booked. So you might want to order that early. Talk with your lender about that. But yeah, so, and also another thing to note on the appraisal, since let's just go ahead and say you were able to negotiate with the seller and they're going to fix whatever the items are. So now it's the appraisal. Now, the only issue is let's just say if you don't have any upfront money for an appraisal shortfall, if the property does appraise below market value, then the lender is only going to loan up to that amount and no more. So in this market, we've seen partial appraisal waivers, we've seen full appraisal waivers to make your offer more enticing for the seller. So you have anything to add about those?
Yeah, so an appraisal waiver, to really break it down, that's saying that if the appraisal, which is a certified, third party, if they come and determine that the house is worth, let's say in this $500,000 home example, you're offering $500,000, but the appraiser comes in and says it's $490,000, then you'll have to make up that $10,000 difference. So you're going to have to pay the down payment plus closing costs plus an extra $10,000 just so that you can close on the home.
Right. And if you're able to negotiate the offer with your appraisal contingency intact, you'll probably be good. And you can negotiate with the seller. But if you have that
It
appraisal
does
waiver.
make your offer stronger.
Yeah, it makes your offer stronger to have it, but
So if you're in a multiple offer situation, you might want to consider having an appraisal waiver.
right. And also, when moving on to make, before you make the offer, your agent's going to sit down with you and let you know about title and who pays for title. And in our market, the Austin, Texas market, buyers have been paying for title too.
And what is title?
Title is just the title of the property. It's who owns that property. There's title, and then there's title insurance, which basically protects you in case you close on the property and there's a lien that they did not catch. Right?
And we have a video on this, so check out one of our earlier videos on what is title in real estate.
Correct. Check that out. So title insurance, it can run, it really depends on the house, but it can run $2,000, maybe even a little bit more for title insurance.
Right.
That's a closing cost, by the way. So there's the upfront cost, earnest option, your appraisal, your inspection fees. Those are all upfront costs, and then you have your closing costs, which would be the title insurance and the lenders.
So many costs.
Yeah,
involved.
it's expensive to buy a house. That's for sure.
The next step, once you get everything done, cleared with title, the next step is the loan approval, the final loan approval. This is where you turn in all your documents that the lender asks for. Super important that you get everything in a timely manner, because if you don't, you could be in breach of the contract and lose your earnest money. So make sure you get the lender everything they need in a very timely manner, meaning ASAP.
And another thing I always tell my clients is don't get a credit card when you're under contract. Don't, buy a car when you're under contract.
Don't buy furniture for your new house.
Yeah, because it will affect your loan, and all of those fees that you've done could affect your.
Don't co-sign on anything while you're under contract.
There you go. Yeah, or you might not qualify for the loan that you had originally tried to get. So
keep your credit clean, guys.
Yep, and keep your credit clean. That's for sure.
You want to talk about the survey? Sometimes the survey will be needed. Yeah,
so surveys, usually the seller will provide a survey. Now, if title or the lender decide, either one, say that, hey, we don't accept this survey, then a surveyor is going to have to go out, and that could be $400, maybe $500 to have them go and resurvey the property. And if you make an offer, if you decide to pay for that, then that would be another cost to the buyer or the seller, just depending on what you negotiated with your realtor.
Awesome. And once everything's done, just a couple days out from closing, you'll have a final walkthrough to walk through the property, make sure everything looks the way you want it to be. Everything is as expected. There's no last minute parties that were thrown at the party or at the house.
Yeah.
There's no items that were taken off the house that should not have been. So that's what the final walkthrough is for. And then the next day you'll go to the title company to sign your 5-inch stack of papers and close on the home.
Yeah. Another stack of papers to sign. You're going to be signing a lot once you've gone under contract, for sure. So we hope that this video was very, very informative. This is just to help you in purchasing a home out here in Texas. If you're from a different state, you might not have an option, period. But
yeah, it'll be pretty much similar to other states. It's just some of the details that we talked about may not apply, or there might be other details that may apply that we didn't cover. But in general, this is the overall process for buying a home in the U.S. And I believe also in most countries.
I don't know. I don't know about other countries.
I don't want to say that. I have no idea about buying a house in India. I'm not sure about that.
No.
Okay, so thanks a lot, guys. If you found value from this video, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. We post here very often. We also do YouTube Shorts, so check us out there. And see you next time.
See you next time.